With a selection of Massey Ferguson tractors and Bobcat zero-turn mowers, NC Tractor gives fantastic customer service, the best discounts possible, and it's a locally owned business. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue is helping to make outdoor work more enjoyable. Shouldn't you have something that you can be proud of for a long time? Massey Ferguson and Bobcat zero-turn mowers. Come look them over. 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherford. That phone number is 288-0395.
We're tracking high temperatures today to reach the lower 70s and the upper 80s, but that's going to come with the potential for showers and thunderstorms into the afternoon. What we have going on is this cold front that's moving to the south of us, and that is going to spark more rounds of showers and thunderstorms as we head throughout the evening commute. Rain will linger into tonight with lows in the upper 50s and upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Well, we had a good soaking overnight, had some early this morning, and we may get some more throughout the day today. As a matter of fact, they're calling for some rain and possible some thunderstorms this afternoon, with today's highs around 77 and about an 80% chance of that happening today and tonight. And on Tuesday, we have a 60% chance. And Wednesday, it looks like there is about a 60% chance. And Thursday, the same way. And then Friday and Saturday is clearing out of here for another beautiful weekend. Right now, it's cloudy and 65 degrees here at WCAB in Rutherford, serving the foothills of the Carolinas. Good morning, everybody. 6 minutes after 7, let's look at today's death announcements. Matthew Stillwell, 39 of Henrietta, died Saturday, May 21st. The funeral service will be conducted at 3 o'clock Tuesday, May 24th at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. The graveside service will be conducted at 3 o'clock Wednesday, May 25th at Laurel Branch Cemetery in Bryson City. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services, serving the family of Matthew Stillwell. Jack Donald Dover, age 66 of Forest City, passed away Wednesday, May 18th at the Hospice of Carolina Foothills. No formal services will be conducted at this time. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with the arrangements for Jack Donald Dover. Joyce Ann Honeycutt Sperlin, age 76 of Forest City, passed away Wednesday, May 18th at the Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The funeral service will be held 12 noon today at Florence Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery. The family will receive friends from 10:30 until 11:45 in the Nortrax prior to the service. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Joyce Ann Honeycutt Sperlin. Kenneth Ray Suttle, 59 of Forest City, died Thursday, May 19th. Graveside service will be conducted at 3 o'clock today at Golden Valley Church Cemetery. Visitation will be held from 1:45 until 2:45 at Golden Valley Church prior to the graveside service. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services in charge of the arrangements for Kenneth Ray Suttle. Robert Cecil Vickers, age 91 of Forest City, died Thursday, May 19th at Fairhaven of Forest City. Funeral services will be held Tuesday, May 24th at 2 o'clock at Crestview Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery. Family will receive friends from 12:30 until 1:45 prior to the service at the church. The Pageant and King Mortuary is in charge of the arrangements for Robert Cecil Vickers. Michael Allen Edwards, age 72 of Forest City, died Friday, May 20th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The funeral service will be held at 2 o'clock Wednesday, May 25th at New Bethel Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. The family will receive friends following the graveside service in the gazebo in the cemetery. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory in charge of the arrangements for Michael Allen Edwards of Forest City. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others as they become available to us, can be heard this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on WCAB in Rutherford, serving the foothills of the Carolinas. Well, the Braves sort of had a mixed weekend. Saturday, the Braves beat the Marlins 4-3. Sunday, Marlins came back and beat the Braves 4-3. And the Braves will be playing the Phillies this evening right here on WCAB. Both sports for the foothills for the Braves.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, many timeshare owners are very upset because their yearly dues have nearly doubled. Well, Lone Star will guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. With their A-plus rating at the Better Business Bureau, clients know that Lone Star Transfer is a company you can trust. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. On this Monday, let's talk about charisma. You cannot buy it. You cannot develop it. You have to be born with it. Some charismatic people: Elvis Presley, John F. Kennedy, Joe Namath, Donald Trump, Mary Tyler Moore, Marilyn Monroe, Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King Jr., Ronald Reagan, Willie Mays, Babe Ruth, Tom Brady. Now, there are many more, but those names you know, and they're all charismatic people. They were born with a special gift to attract other people. Now, just because you have charisma doesn't mean you are a good person. You can be thoroughly despicable. Putin has charisma. So did Al Capone. Villains throughout history had charisma. There are very few individuals who are natural leaders who can rally people to their cause through sheer force of personality. And that's what charisma really is. The most charismatic person in history was Jesus, a stonecutter from a backwater Nazareth becomes the most famous human being in history. That's charisma. Now this. AMAC is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful news, and a magazine full of uncensored content. They are pushing back against efforts to defund the police, weaken the borders, and corrupt our youth. But they need your help. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
This is WCAB Rutherfordton, 590 AM, and now on FM at 100.9 FM.
In 1851, professional gambler Charles Cora traveled to San Francisco with his 22-year-old paramour, Bella. Gambling being legal and Charles being a good gambler, he did well. But San Francisco's high society looked down upon them because he and Bella weren't married. In November of 1855, Charles and Bella went to a play at the American Theater. They outraged many there, including Marshall Richardson and his wife. Although asked to leave, Charles and Bella refused. Over the next couple of days, Charles and the Marshal exchanged insults until one evening Marshall Richardson called Charles out. Shots were fired and Marshall Richardson was dead. In Charles's first trial, the jury failed to come up with a decision. Charles was confident of an acquittal in the second trial. That is until May 14, when James Casey joined him in jail. James Casey had shot James King, a respected newspaper editor. 10,000 people gathered outside the jail seeking vengeance for the shooting of King. When Casey was turned over to the vigilantes, they also took Charles Cora. For 2 days, Cora and Casey were held by the vigilantes. When the newspaper editor died, Cora and Casey's fate was sealed. On May 22, as the editor was buried, Cora and King were hanged. Had Casey not killed the editor, Cora would have probably gotten off. But that's not the only point of irony. Just before Cora was hanged, he and Bella got married. Had they done this 9 months earlier, Cora wouldn't even have been in jail. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James Railroad Express has added 2 new sandwiches to their menu. Try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only, hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Congratulations to Jesse James Railroad Express, voted 2021 Best of Rutherford County hot dogs and hamburgers 5 years in a row.
Now let's get the news from the Sheriff's Department this Monday morning, and we have on the phone Deputy Aida to give us that report. Good morning. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
Good. Tell us what's been going on over the weekend.
In the last 48 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 357 calls for service, arrested 18, and the jail was housing a total of 202. For incident reports, Henry Baker reported a break-in entering. Wes Camper reported a misdemeanor larceny. Bruce Roberts reported break-in entering. Manny Hudson, assault by strangulation. Marion Whittington reported assault with a deadly weapon. Marion Whittington, assault with a deadly weapon. Christopher Surratt, possession of methamphetamine. Christian Basic Ministries reported a burglary, breaking and entering. That's it for incident reports. For arrest, Scotty Walker was arrested on a failure to appear. Keith Crump was arrested for a failure to appear. Robert Harden was arrested for possession of methamphetamine. Ronnie Davis. Amy Bergen was arrested for a failure to appear. Swain Dooley was arrested for a criminal summons citation. Joseph Blackman was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon. Keith Crump was arrested for a failure to misdemeanor. James Price was arrested for a misdemeanor larceny. Gary Queen was arrested for trafficking methamphetamine. Devon Lynch was arrested for possession of methamphetamine. Matthew Harden was arrested for failure to appear. Ralph Jones was arrested for criminal summons citation. And that's all we have for today.
Deputy Ida, thank you very much for that report, and you be safe out there today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The same.
We'll get with 911 Communication Center next. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. And here's Tina now to give us a report from the Communication Center. Tina, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's on the report from the weekend?
For the last 48 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 communications has processed 695 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 103 for EMS, 357 for Sheriff's Office, 105 for Forest City, 29 for Rutherfordton, 12 for Lake Lure, and 87 for Spindale. Under fire calls, we had Bills Creek respond to a motor vehicle accident and a residential fire alarm. We had Ballstick respond to a motor vehicle accident. We had Cliffside respond to a structure fire and a power line fire with Ellenburg, Sandy Mush, and SDO. We had Ellenburg respond to an investigation and a motor vehicle accident. We had Green Hill respond to a fire alarm. We had Hudlow respond to a brush fire. We had Rutherfordton and Sandy Mush respond to motor vehicle accidents. We had SDO respond to a structure fire and brush fire, with Rutherfordton, Sandy Mush, and Green Hill responding as well. And we had Spindale respond to a power line fire, and that's all we had.
Busy weekend, Tina, sound like.
It was.
Thanks for the report. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, folks, Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse-quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
Ruby Taylor is up next from Danieltown, SDO Fire District. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report?
Well, the fire department assisted Cliffside on the structure fire, and the SDO had a structure fire, and they were assisted by the other departments, and they had a brush fire also. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Mark Crow and Kelsey Doggett having birthdays, and hope they have a nice day. Signs are in the head today, feet today, and going to the head tomorrow, and that's all I've got.
Thanks, Ruby. Have a good Monday.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Well, nothing goes better than a morning or afternoon shopping spree at Washburn General Store. They are there. They're waiting on you to help you get spring off to a good start with all the seeds that you need for your gardens, for your flower beds, and for your vegetable garden. They've got them, plus tools to help you work the garden, gloves and hats to put over your head to keep the sun out of your eyes. They got a great place to shop. They have also a cornmeal, measuring cups, pots and pans, and lamps and lamp oil and lanterns and diet drinks and straw hats and shovels and signs of all kinds. What are you waiting for? Why not spend today shopping at Washburn General Store between Bostic and Sunshine, the Bostic Sunshine Highway there in the Washburn community. Now let's check in with Gary Wilson up in the Fairfield Mountains Fire District. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Doing well. Hope you're doing well.
Doing well. Raining about all night, I think.
I think it did.
Woke up last night, it was raining, and come back home yesterday afternoon from my grandson's wedding, and it rained hard something through Eddyville and down through there because the river was running muddy. It had a hard rain down through there, but we've had pretty steady light rain about all night. Nothing, no storms or nothing, and everything's on the quiet side this morning as far as fire calls go. I think Bills Creek had one during the night. Had a tree down in the road over on Cedar Creek. But, everything else is going on pretty good up here. And, you had any heavy rains your way, Jim?
Had what?
Have you had any heavy rains down your way?
We didn't have any heavy. It rained about all night, light showers basically. I expect we're going to get some heavy rain this week, though. It looks like it's going to be in and out with us.
Close to half inch since it started. But
yeah.
And maybe calling for a chance for about an inch today before it's over with.
Yeah. Maybe some thunderstorms, too, likely to happen.
Yeah, I had some those around here yesterday. Nothing too bad. Hopefully it'll be some good rain, good soaking rain. That'll help the garden and everything else.
That's right. The bright spot of all that, Gary, is looks like Saturday and Sunday is going to be beautiful for us again.
Yeah, we're looking ahead on my weather app. It looks like coming up this weekend it's going to be mid-80s and back to summertime again. But we'll have some chance of rain every day this week up until then, kind of like. That's about all we got up here, Jim.
Gary, thank you very much. You enjoy your Monday, and I will see you back here tomorrow.
All right, you have a good one.
Bye. Fairfield Mountains Fire District reporter, Gary Wilson.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Well, the Braves are up again tonight against the Phillies. Braves and the Phillies, 6:05 airtime for that. They'll be with the Phillies about 4 games. And this week also starts the Forest City Owls schedule for the summer. And we'll have some of the guys in on radio, I believe it's Wednesday morning, come up to talk with us a little bit about the season, introduce a new announcers and what it's going to look like for the season. They seem to be really optimistic about a good season. We'll see what happens with the Owls this week, and we'll be doing some of the away games as well this year to get your season tickets early and take advantage of some really exciting summer league baseball right here in Forest City with the Forest City Owls. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. Our Boston reporter, DeVern Upton, not available this morning for the call, so we're jumping right over to the Hudlow Fire District and Mr. Bob Hodge. How you doing this morning, Bob?
We're doing just fine on this Monday morning up here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day in spite of the rain, right?
That's right, but we got a little thunderstorm moved through late yesterday afternoon and got a little shower of rain, and that's helped out a whole lot. We're getting dry up here, so any little bit really helps, but look like we might get some more storms during the day later on, so... But we need the rain. It was getting dry.
Yes, it was very dry. These early gardens needed that rain.
That's right. Them tomato plants and stuff needs that rain there. But with the fire department, been pretty quiet over the weekend. We've answered one brush fire call and a couple of medical calls, and that's about it with the fire department. Things are going along quiet up here so far this morning.
Good.
And, Jim, that's about it. Nice to hear you back this week.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's good to get a little break there for a change and back behind the saddle now.
Oh, everybody needs a break every once in a while.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, you take care now, and you have a good day.
Thanks, Bob. Hope you do, too, and I'll check back in with you tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
So I mentioned, I think it's Wednesday morning, I took this message down while I was away from my desk. I think Wednesday morning we're going to have some of the Forest City Owls, the managing coaching team or the broadcast team here in the studio to talk a little bit about the upcoming season. They've got some things happening this week at the park there in Forest City, so be sure to stand around and wait for that and get your tickets early. It's going to be an exciting season for the Owls. We hope they don't get rained out much this year. Maybe a full season without all the soak-outs and delays of the game. We'll see what happens. But right now, though, we're going over to the Sunshine Cherry Mountain Fire District and talk with Sue Price. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
I hope you're doing well.
Doing good. Hope you are.
Yes, indeed.
Well, good to have you back.
Thank you.
Your crew did a good job while you were gone.
Got a good crew to back me up when I'm gone.
That's right. Well, let's see. I have one birthday on my church calendar for Daniel McCraw, so I hope Daniel's going to have a good day. And on my personal calendar, I've got anniversary for Clayton and Pansy Self and a birthday for Catherine Cook. So I hope they'll have a good day. First Broad has an anniversary for Dale and Christine Smith and a birthday for Catherine Cook. And Fairview has anniversary for Clayton and Pansy Self. So we hope those folks are all going to have a good day, and we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. In my announcements, the Sunshine Church will be having their Memorial Sunday, June 5th at 11 a.m. They're not be having a meal this year. Their speaker is Steve Harmon. And Duncan's Creek Church will be having their memorial service on June the 5th, starting at 11 a.m., and we'll be having a picnic lunch to follow. And so far, that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over this way, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Thanks, Sue. I appreciate that, and you enjoy your day, too, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. 7:32. Here on the Monday morning call around the county newscast, and we'll get to the next phone call here right after this.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Shingle Hollow, here we come. Let's check in now with Tina White, see what's been happening up there in that fire district. Tina, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. It's good to hear your voice on this muggy Monday morning.
Well, thank you. It's good to be back behind the microphone in the Blue Room. Everything going your way up there today?
Well, yes, so far so good. It is 67 degrees. Had some rain showers yesterday and thunderstorm, and we loved it. I'm so thankful for the rain that we got. The fire department, as far as I know, was all quiet this morning. Over the weekend, they haven't called me this morning. He's probably got busy. And for birthdays today, we have Miss Amanda Searcy. I don't have any anniversaries, so I hope Amanda has a great day filled with all the things she loves. And White House Community Clubhouse is having a breakfast this Saturday and a yard sale, so they invite everyone to come on out to that. It is from 7 to 10 a.m. There at the White House Community Clubhouse this Saturday on the 28th. And Piney Knob Baptist Church is having a fish fry. And the whole community is invited. And it's on Saturday, May 28th. I think it starts at 5 p.m. I'll let you know times tomorrow morning that are exactly right because I have misplaced my bulletin. But I think the plates are going to be $10.50, and it's supposed to be a good day for that this Saturday. So that's all I've got going on this morning.
All right. So I hope you have a good Monday and enjoy yourself.
You as well, and I will talk to you tomorrow morning.
Thanks, Tina. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Tina White reporting out of Shingle Hollow this morning with that report. You know, I know many of you do, and you've expressed this to me, how confusing and complicated and aggravating it is sometimes to deal with paperwork of insurance. Maybe the insurance won't cover this particular thing. Imagine quality primary health care and urgent care services for you without all that hassle. It is available, you know, to you and your family from Brock Family Care. Family medicine the way it ought to be. No insurance to deal with, general primary medical care, chronic disease prevention and management, urgent care, medication management, and so much more. Brock Family Care is a membership-based model where patients pay the primary care provider directly through monthly or annual fees rather than paying through an insurance provider, and you'll be surprised how low those fees are. Not accepting any forms of health insurance cuts out the hassles and allows for more personalized and affordable health care. It may be time to move into a health plan like this one for your family or your business. Call today for more information. Here's the number, 828-382-7282, or check them out on the web at brockfamilycare.com. This is the way healthcare should be. Well, we go up Union Mills now and say hello to Brenda Kelly. Good morning, Brenda Kelly.
Well, good morning. Let's see. I think your name is Jim Bishop.
That is correct.
It's been a while since I talked to you. I just about forgot what you sounded like.
How soon they forget.
Welcome back. It's good to have you, but I want you to know that Todd and Tracy done a fine job.
They're good people to have around.
Yeah, if you was gone much longer, you wouldn't have had a job when you come back.
I asked Todd how he enjoyed doing the morning. He said, well, that's pretty good.
Well, yeah, he done a fine job, so that's good.
Yeah, he's got the potential to be a superstar.
But we missed you, and we're glad to have you back, and glad that you're safe and sound. So.
Thank you.
But I don't think I have any birthdays and anniversaries, but I got 62 degrees on the front porch. I've got one announcement, and this is a couple of weeks out. Friends for a Cure Against Cancer inside yard sale. Proceeds benefit Relay for Life. Date June the 11th, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., and this will be at the Dyersville Community Building. This is in McDowell County. And that's 74 Clubhouse Road, Nebo, North Carolina, 28761, between 226 South and Bang Mountain Road. And so far, that's all I know of going on. So it's just short, sweet, and quiet up here, and we like it like that.
We like it like that.
That's right.
You did get some rain overnight?
Oh, yeah, we've had rain. Let's see. It started, I guess it was yesterday afternoon, and every time I was awake in the night, I got up a couple of times, and it was raining. Got up early this morning, it's raining. We done had a pretty good shower just a few minutes ago, so but we needed it.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Yes, it was dry, and that'll make them little squash and tomatoes grow.
Can't complain about the rain this time.
No, no. I just don't like the bad storms, and but all the twigs that's out in my yard, it looks like we might have had some high wind because these twigs laying everywhere. I'm going to have to do like Ruby. I'm going to have to get out there and get them up. But that's all right. It give me something to do, keep my mind occupied, and keep me out of trouble.
There you go.
But I don't know of anything else going on, Jim, so I guess you better go check on Luther Sweet thing.
You continue to have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, catch you later.
Thanks, Brenda.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Jim, Have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
Having difficulty getting in touch with Luther Gilligan over in Ellenboro. He may not be available this morning. I don't know, maybe sleeping in on a Monday morning or maybe got strangled on a cup of coffee, something. He's not available to answer the phone this morning, so we'll move right along from Ellenboro to our birthday party line. And the line is open for birthdays and anniversaries for this 23rd day of May. May 23rd, 287-3356, 287-3356. And if you're out of this area code, it's 828-287-3356. If you're calling from Polk County or Cleveland County, let us know that, and we'll mention your birthday as well. We love to do birthdays and anniversaries right here on the Morning Report. Again, that's 287-3356. Well, Granny B's earning a great reputation for breakfast. More and more folks are bragging on what a good job they do with breakfast. Although they're closed on Mondays, you can pick back up at breakfast on Tuesday through Saturday morning. And they start as early as 7 o'clock. Maybe you get over a little earlier, they might be there. But 7 o'clock to 11, breakfast served the way you like it. Again, if you like omelets, they can do that for you, or scrambled eggs, or bacon and toast and sausage. Whatever you like for breakfast, they can fix that for you. And why don't you give it a try tomorrow morning? Meanwhile, if you're not a breakfast person but like their subs, they got a great sub, and they'll load that down the way you want it. They'll ask you what you want on it, and you tell them, and it's a good sub sandwich. Now, I'm fond of the wheat bread. They have the great wheat bread that they fix my subs on. I like that, so you might like it too. So give it a try. That's Granny B's. They're in Spindale, Main Street, right next door to the Shake Shop, and let them know that you enjoy good food, and they'll arrange that for you. It's time to hit the birthday theme.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday wishes going out to Crystal Thompson this morning, 36 over in Boston. And Ty Cersei is having a birthday today. Susan Gilbert also is celebrating a birthday. And a little delayed birthday, but I had the pleasure of enjoying the 98th birthday of Earl Estes on Saturday at his house. Threw a little party for him, and his family came in, and they invited Faye and me to come by and enjoyed that hospitality with 98-year-old Earl Estes. So happy birthday, and continued. We told him to have a 100th birthday and invite us back to his party. Other things happened in 1883. Douglas Fairbanks was born. He died in 1939. 1910, Artie Shaw, band leader, was born, died in 2004. 1910, Scatman Crothers, singer, was born. 1925, Mac Wiseman, bluegrass singer, was born. He died in 2019, just a couple of years ago. 1928, Rosemary Clooney was born. She died in 2002. 1941, General Johnson, the singer, was born. He died 2010. 1958, Drew Carey was born. Some of the events on this date include 1785, Benjamin Franklin announces the invention of the bifocals. Patsy Cook also is having a birthday today, by the way. 1845, NYPD is formed. 1900, Associated Press News Service forms in New York. 1922, Walt Disney incorporates his first film company, Laugh-O-Gram Films. 1934, Bonnie and Clyde were killed. This is National Lucky Penny Day and National Taffy Day. Now you're up to date on this date in history here on WCAB in Rutherfordton. Stand by. We have the job market report coming up, top of the hour, and we'll chat with Wayne Rollins, see what's cooking for lunch today.
Michael Levine suggests that good manners are the traffic rules for society. Have you ever tried to pull out of a parking lot onto a busy highway, and just as you were about to give up hope of ever being able to cut in, a kind soul stopped and let you go in front of them? The other driver didn't have to stop for you. It was just a simple, little random act of kindness that made a great big impact. Good manners have that type of impact. Often they are minute, simple actions that make a large difference in our interactions with other people. They lend a quiet elegance, a finesse to the mundane or even the crude. They facilitate pleasant, friendly interactions that say to another person, I respect you, I honor you, you are important to me, I think you're special. All of us respond favorably to good manners. We tend to pass them on. Sophocles said, kindness gives birth to kindness. Likewise, good manners give birth to good manners. We don't need to study books on etiquette to know what good manners are. They are based upon kindness, common sense, and the golden rule. Do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. Keep this in mind, and you'll find yourself acting in a courteous, mannerly way. Good manners will become automatic, habitual, a very real part of who and what you are. They take us a long ways in life, and yet they cost us nothing. This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living.
This is WCAB Rutherfordton, 590 AM and
Press release, its 3-shot regimen meets several goals for FDA authorization, including being 80% effective against the Omicron variant.
This is the news parents of younger children have been anxiously waiting for. As pediatric COVID cases rise, Pfizer is finally ready to submit its vaccine for children ages 6 months to 5 years old to the FDA for emergency use authorization.
ABC's Stephanie Ramos. Meantime, another concern for parents of young children, the nationwide shortage of baby formula, though an overseas shipment has arrived in the U.S., fast-tracked by the federal government.
President Biden tweeting, "Our team is working around the clock to get safe formula to everyone who needs it." This formula heading to hospitals and medical providers to distribute to parents whose babies are allergic to cow milk proteins. This comes as ABC News has learned at least 4 infants in South Carolina were recently hospitalized due to complications. 3 of them admitted when their parents were forced to use alternatives to their normal formula.
ABC's M. Wynn. The president also making news as he visits Tokyo. He announced a new trade deal with 12 Indo-Pacific nations aimed at strengthening their economies, and he met with Japan's prime minister and reaffirmed U.S.-Japanese relations.
The United States remains fully committed to Japan's defense, and we will face the challenges of today and the future together.
The president also weighed in on Taiwan, saying yes, he is willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan from mainland China if necessary. In New York City, the hunt is on for a subway attacker who shot and killed a commuter Sunday on a moving train and then took off. Police say it was an unprovoked attack. You're listening to ABC News.
There's still time for business owners to claim their federal aid under the Employee Retention Tax Credit Program. Cash refunds of up to $26,000 per employee are available for employers who continue to pay their employees during the COVID epidemic. Many businesses qualify and simply do not know it. All business types and industries may qualify. You can claim the credit even if you received a PPP loan. This is a cash payment and not a loan and can be claimed now. The licensed CPAs and tax professionals at Ferguson, Timar & Associates have been serving business owners across the country for over 15 years. The best part is that until you receive your cash payment, you don't pay us a dime. Our tax credit specialists are available now at 833-ERC-FILE, and your tax payment estimate is quick, easy, and free. That's 833-ERC-FILE to qualify you and your business for up to $26,000 per employee of free federal aid. Call us now at 833-ERC-FILE. That's 833-ERC-FILE.
Ukraine's president calling for tougher sanctions against Russia over the invasion of his country. President Zelensky this morning addressing the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, through a translator.
There can be no simple solution with a neighbor like Russia Federation.
And a Ukrainian court today has sentenced a 21-year-old Russian soldier to life for killing a Ukrainian civilian. New accusations against the leaders of the country's largest Protestant denomination over the way they've handled years of allegations of sex abuse.
For nearly 2 decades, Southern Baptist Convention leaders ignored or disbelieved allegations of sexual abuse by clergy. Those were some of the findings in a nearly 300-page report by an independent firm, which said a few senior executive committee leaders and outside counsel largely controlled the response to allegations, and the focus was on avoiding liability. SBC President Ed Litton said he is, quote, grieved to my core for the victims. He said the SBC will discuss reforms at its annual meeting next month in Anaheim. Brian Clark, ABC News.
And the NBA playoffs getting expensive for the Dallas Mavericks. The team fined for a 3rd time in this year's playoffs over violations on the bench. Players and coaches breaking rules about standing too much and straying from the bench area. The latest fine? $100,000. This is ABC News.
If you're like me and suffer from toenail fungus, please pay close attention. Nail fungus isn't just a cosmetic problem. It can also be dangerous. But no matter what I tried, it seemed like my fungus would never go away. Then I discovered Crystal Flush, the new FDA-registered at-home treatment. This unique 2-step system flushes out fungus at its source and reverses damaged nails. Call now, and for a limited time, you can try Crystal Flush risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-676-1374. That's 800-676-1374.
I'm Derek Dennis, ABC News.
We could see severe storms develop for the evening commute. Some showers and thunderstorms will be possible and will likely provide damaging wind speeds and hail. Highs will head into the lower 70s and the upper 80s today, and lingering storms will linger into tonight, but I think that severe threat will die down considerably as we head into the overnight hours. Temperatures will dip into the upper 50s and upper 60s. Meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's cloudy and 66 degrees here in Rutherfordton, warming up to about 77 with some expectations of some clouds and thunderstorms developing later today. Maybe some thunderstorms even tonight and tomorrow and possibly Wednesday and Thursday, and then clearing out of here for the weekend. Right now, cloudy and 66 degrees. All right, it's Monday morning, and we'd like to check in with Anita to find out where some job opportunities are around our neighborhood. Anita, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
On this damp sort of morning.
Yeah, it is sort of dreary out there, but we sure needed the rain, didn't we?
We did need that good rain. My garden did anyway, I'll say that. We got a housekeeper, custodial laundry position up in Rutherfordton. That pay is $9.25 to $10 an hour. They want you to have a high school diploma. We have a physical therapist assistant out in Far City. That pay is anywhere from $44,600 to $80,000 a year. That does require a physical therapy license and a year's experience. A valve stream team leader out in Far City. That does require a bachelor's degree and 3 years experience. An occupational therapist out in Far City. They also have a position in Shelby as well, the same employer. That pay is anywhere from $54,900 to $112,000 a year. That does require a bachelor's degree. We have a machine operator out in Far City. The pay is dependent on experience, does not require any education. We have a LPN, private duty, licensed practical nurse licensure is required, and a year's experience. That job is in Far City. A caregiver weekly pay out in Columbus that requires a CNA license and 6 months experience. The pay is anywhere from $17,000 to $29,800 a year. And then manufacturing supervisor on the first shift out in Far City. That does require a high school diploma and a year's experience. We also have a dental hygienist out in Spindale. That dental hygienist does require an associate's degree, the dental hygienist. That pay is anywhere from $20 to $35 an hour. We have a dental office assistant in Spindale. That pay is $11 to $13 an hour and a high school diploma and 3 months experience. A material handler 3 DRP, that is in Spindale. There's actually 2 of those. They do require a high school diploma. The pay is dependent on experience. We have an assembler out in Spindale that requires a high school diploma and 1 month experience, $24,000 to $56,000 a year. We also have a groundskeeper in Spindale that requires a high school diploma and 3 years experience. A social worker out in Spindale that is $47,449 a year. It requires a bachelor's degree and 4 years experience. We have an inspection packer out in Far City that pay is dependent on experience. They don't require any education or any experience right now. A paraprofessional level 3 group home, Far City, that does require a high school diploma, and the pay is dependent on experience. Also, this Wednesday at 10 o'clock, of course, we can send you the link, is a virtual learning about scholarships and to advance your skills through the NC Work scholarships. Also, and the 15th of June, we're having a job fair out at RS Central High School. It is from 11 till 3. And that, of course, I know that's later in June, but I wanted to go ahead and get that out there. And so for any of these jobs, any of these workshops, just give us a call at 828-286-3042 or come by and see us here at 223 on Charlotte Road, and we'll help you get your resume in the system and there too as well. And we'll even do a resume for you.
Anita, all right. Thank you very much. You've been most helpful this morning. I look forward to talking to you again. Let's see. Now, will you be open next Monday? It's Memorial Day.
Oh, it is Memorial Day, so I guess I won't get to see you and talk to you next week then.
You get the day off, right?
That's right.
Oh, lucky you.
I hear you.
Have a good week.
All right. Thanks, son. You too.
Bye-bye. That is Anita with the job market report there, and we'll be talking with Wayne Rollins here in just a few moments. Find out what's cooking.
Capture the moment, share the moment with Carolina West Wireless. Right now, whether you're a new or existing customer, there are great deals for everyone. With our savings stack up, you can stay connected while saving up to $1,050. Save $400 on the new iPhones 13, plus $150 when you switch, and up to $500 on device trade-ins. And with our 5G network, you can capture the moment and share it from wherever you are. Visit a Carolina West Wireless store and start saving today. Carolina West Wireless. Go stay connected. Certain restrictions apply. See representative for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
All right, let's say good morning and a happy Monday to Wayne Rollins over Wayne's Lunchbox. Wayne, how you doing?
Doing good, Jim. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. You back ready to cook some good food today?
Yeah, man, we're ready to go. We had a couple of caterings over the weekend, which I was glad to do. Had a couple on Saturday and had one yesterday. Don't seem like we had any time off, but it's going to be a good day today. Just a great day because it's a special day today, Jim. I got to talk about somebody real quick if I can.
Okay, sure.
My buddy, my grandson, Caden, is 8 years old today, and I know he's listening on the radio on his way to Cliffside Elementary this morning. So I want to wish Caden a happy birthday today, and I'll see him this afternoon when he gets done.
Happy birthday, Caden.
He's a mess, boy. I'm training him well, though, Jim. He likes to hunt and fish, and he'd rather fish than about anything in the world. So we training him up right.
You'll have him in the kitchen before you know it.
He already does that. I mean, he over at Jessica's all the time. He's in there scrambling an egg right off the bat. And once he can reach the top of the stove, he can pretty much do anything. If he can't, then we get him a little stool and he get up there. But he already be in the kitchen with me some, so it won't be long. I'll have him back there showing him all the other tricks.
That's the way to get him started.
He's a mess, boy. I love that little boy to death. But happy birthday, Caden. I know he's listening.
So what's on the menu today?
Man, today's the grilled chicken Philly, Jim. That's one of our specialty sandwiches that we do. It's always a big seller on Monday. The chicken fried steak that we do, we bread it up and fry it with the white gravy. Always goes good with the green beans, cream potatoes, something along that lines. And I noticed this morning you'd done seen the chocolate on chocolate cupcakes that we're going to have for dessert today.
Yes, I saw that. Oh, yeah.
Those usually don't last too long, so if you want one of them, you better get them pretty quick. We actually, I made those for a gentleman that won one of the raffles at the anniversary we had.
Oh, yeah?
A guy won those, and he told me, he said, Wayne, I might have some chocolate on chocolate. And I said, boy, I can fix you up. So he's coming up there today to pick up his free dozen from our anniversary that we had, our big special. So he's getting 12 of them right off the bat. So I made a few extra just for dessert today so people come by and try them out.
Well, you're still getting repercussions from that anniversary sale, aren't you? That anniversary
Yeah, that was a great day. Granted, you guys being up there helped us out a lot too, but it's just a great day that we had. We give away a lot of prizes for that, and I think everybody just had a good day. It's hard to believe we've already been there for 3 years, but just time flies by so quick nowadays. You just turn around the corner, and next thing you know, we've been there 3 years. But we still try to, get everything and make everything as good as we can. Just have a lot of new folks coming in and seeing us and talking to us, trying things out, especially with the catering. I think now that, this COVID thing sort of, went down a lot, we're doing a lot of catering right now. And when you do catering like that, it gets out to a lot of people that may not have even ever heard of you. And I see that a lot, especially when, we go to some of the big weddings and stuff like that. People didn't even know we were there. Even though we've been here 3 years, it's just like, you get in a routine and you don't never go by there. But we've got a lot of new business coming from catering and, just a lot of people. We have a lot of things at that little place. I mean, it's not just your average hot dog and hamburger place. Like I said this weekend, we did a prime rib, baked potato salad bar catering this weekend. So there's not much that we can't do. So we have a good turnout when stuff like that comes up.
Well, it's becoming to be wedding season. If somebody's looking for a caterer for their wedding, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Just give me a call at the restaurant. It's 828-295 or 395, 395-2225. or if you have a Facebook page, you can go on either Rollins Catering, or you can go on the Lunchbox page, or you can either go on my page. Just give me a message. We've got a lot of dates that's already filled up this year. We have a lot of people getting married. Just between that and people doing anniversaries and reunions and stuff like that. So just give us a call. If we can put you in on the schedule, we sure will.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing over there, buddy, and I appreciate the good word people are giving us about you. So I know the word's getting out there how much they love your services and your food.
Well, when you love what you do, it's easy to do it. We've been doing this for a long time now, and I just appreciate all my customers that come by. And hopefully it's more than just, coming to get something to eat. I hope they can, come in and we can brighten your day up or do whatever we need to do. We always try to give that customer, the best attention that we can. When they come in, we try to cut up with everybody and go on. So the food is just secondary. It's the relationships and, just everything when they come in and talking makes my day. So I'm glad they can come by, and hopefully we can give them something good to eat and have a good time at the same time.
I like that. Wayne, I'll talk to you again soon. Have a great Monday.
All right, Jim. You too, buddy. Thank you.
Bye.
Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
Smith Drugs of Forest City is offering the flu vaccines. You can walk in Monday through Friday or by appointment only on Saturdays. The Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers, if you need assistance registering your recalled devices, you can call the Home Medical Department at 245-4591. And Smith Drugs has a large selection of in-stock mastectomy bras, now half price. So come by our Home Equipment Department on West Main Street in Forest City. Smith Drugs, 245-4591. Sign-up forms are now available for the Meet Me at the Fountain 5K race to be held on Saturday, July the 23rd. Go to smithsdrugsfc.com.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. We know that due to COVID, many people don't want to come in the office. If you need to discuss your insurance needs or just make a payment, you can come through the drive-thru, telephone us, or drop in. We want to see you, but it doesn't have to be across from a desk. Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City.
Let me introduce you to Brock Family Care, a direct primary care practice that takes care of the patients and not the insurance company. Providing flat rate pricing and not accepting any forms of health insurance allows for more personalized and affordable health care. Ann Brock has over 42 years of healthcare experience and 22 years as a nurse practitioner. She and her staff are dedicated to providing health care that is patient-centered and not insurance company dictated. They give the patient the time and the attention they need. What are your medical needs? Bring them to Brock Family Care and see the difference. Ann also offers telehealth appointments. The professional staff are dedicated and will take the time to find out how they can help you. To learn more about this wonderful medical service, go to the website at www.brockfamilycare.com. That's Brock Family Care, 289 Shallow Road, Forest City. Some stories from here and there this morning. Isothermal Community College named Leon Godlock, a recently retired veteran of the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office. He was named Isothermal Community College's 2022 Outstanding Alumnus at the graduation ceremony last week. Past recipients of the award include Robin Lattimore, Caitlin Wright Mitchell, Robin Inslee, Mrs. Barbara Callahan, Mark Crow, Sarah Kilgo, Aaron Vassey, Alan Carver, and John Higgins. So congratulations to Leon Godlock for being named Outstanding Alumnus of the Year. Meanwhile, Rutherford Regional Health System recently announced that Amanda Cooper, a registered respiratory therapist, has been recognized as the facility's 2022 Mercury Award winner. Mercy Award winner. The Mercy Award recognizes one employee from each of the LifePoint Health facilities who profoundly touches the lives of others and best represents the spirit and values on which the company was founded. The Mercy Award is an annual recognition program established in 2002 to honor the life and contributions of Scott Mercy, LifePoint's founding chairman and chief executive officer. The award is considered the highest honor a LifePoint employee can receive, and congratulations to Amanda Cooper for receiving that special award. According to a story in the Daily Courier, North Carolina's unemployment rate for April fell further below pre-pandemic levels. The State Commerce Department announced Friday as the number of newly hired workers continued to increase. The seasonally adjusted rate of 3.4% represents a 0.1 percentage point decrease from March. The monthly rate had fallen below 4% in the months just before COVID-19. Commerce and movement restrictions in spring 2020 contributed to double-digit jobless rates. So, geez, hopefully things are leveling back off. There's still a lot of businesses that are needing help, still help wanted signs up everywhere. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for a job, they're still out there. Well, thanks to Community Foundation of Western North Carolina and United Healthcare, free over-the-counter medicine will be given away for free on Saturday, June 4th. The NC Med Assist event will be from 9 until 2 at Isothermal Community College. The medicine is given away for free and is open to any North Carolina resident. There are no income requirements and no identification is required. The event will take place rain or shine. No appointment is necessary and pre-registration is not required. However, individuals may pre-order online to request specific over-the-counter medication by visiting medassist.org/mobile. The pre-order may be picked up at the event. If participants do not pre-order, they may go by and pick up a pre-packaged bag of medication while supplies last. These pickups, those picking up medicine must be at least 18 years old or older. For more information on how to receive free prescription medication, visit www.medassist.org. The Sheriff's Report with Deputy Aida coming up in just a moment.
If you haven't stopped into Different Times Mercantile, you're missing out. They've got a store full of gorgeous antiques, collectibles, framed art and pictures, dishware, home decor, brand new designer tops, jeans, and shoes for junior and adult ladies. Great gift ideas for graduation, birthdays, or just a little gift for yourself. Check them out today. That's Different Times Mercantile on Main Street in Rutherfordton.
Now, Debbie Aida was on with us earlier this morning. He gave us a report from the Sheriff's Department. We recorded it for broadcast at this time.
In the last 48 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 357 calls for service, arrested 18, and the jail was housing a total of 202. For incident reports, Henry Baker reported a break-in entering. Wes Camper reported a misdemeanor larceny. Bruce Roberts reported break-in entering. Manny Hudson, assault by strangulation. Marion Whittington reported assault with a deadly weapon. Marion Whittington, assault with a deadly weapon. Christopher Surratt, possession of methamphetamine. Christian Basic Ministries reported a burglary, breaking and entering. That's it for incident reports. For arrest, Scotty Walker was arrested on a failure to appear. Keith Crump was arrested for a failure to appear. Robert Harden was arrested for possession of methamphetamine. Ronnie Davis. Amy Bergen was arrested for a failure to appear. Swain Dooley was arrested for a criminal summons citation. Joseph Blackman was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon. Keith Crump was arrested for a failure to misdemeanor. James Price was arrested for a misdemeanor larceny. Gary Queen was arrested for trafficking methamphetamine. Devon Lynch was arrested for possession of methamphetamine. Matthew Harden was arrested for transferred up here. Ralph Jones was arrested for criminal civil citation. And that's all we have for today.
Carolina Hurricanes after a 3-1 win yesterday at Madison Square Garden in Game 3. New York scored on the power play in the first. The Rangers and Canes exchanged 5-on-5 goals in the second, and then an empty netter with 83 seconds left in the third period sealed it for New York. Head coach Rod Brindamore, Nino Niederreiter, who scored Carolina's goal in the second, and defenseman Jacob Slavin talked after the game about the importance of special teams.
Special teams are a big part of it, but I like the power play for the most part. I mean, we did some good things. It just got to get in the back of the net.
We had definitely enough chances to win this hockey game, and penalty kill is for the most part terrific, and the power play we just can't find a way to get a goal.
Put a lot of shots on net, had a lot of good opportunities, but still at the end of the day, it's not good enough. We got to be better on the kill, got to be better on the power play.
The Hurricanes dropped to 0-4 on the road this postseason with yesterday's loss. Game 4 is tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden. Elsewhere, the Tampa Bay Lightning can advance to the NHL Eastern Conference Finals as early as tonight after taking a 3-0 lead in their second-round series after a 5-1 win yesterday over the Panthers. Florida will try to avoid a sweep this evening. And Evander Kane had a hat trick as the Oilers played strong defense in a 4-1 final over the Flames. They will play Game 4 tomorrow in Edmonton. To the NBA playoffs now in Golden State. They are one win away from their first trip to the NBA Finals in 3 years. Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins carried the Warriors in a 109-100 win and a 3-0 lead over the Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals. Game 4 is tomorrow in Dallas. Ryan Blaney needed 2 extra laps after thinking he'd already won the NASCAR All-Star race and the $1 million purse. He managed to stay in front through a green-white checkered finish after a caution came out just yards before he got to the line for the first time. Denny Hamlin, Austin Cindric, Joey Logano, and Daniel Suarez round out the top 5. This is NCN Sports.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power is there when you need it, with a reliability rating of 99.9%. And as a public power customer, you experience fewer outages and faster restoration compared to those served by other electric providers. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Just like a seatbelt, the COVID-19 vaccine protects you from hospitalization and death. If you get in a car accident, you want your seatbelt. And if you get COVID, you want your booster.
Vaccines keep us safe and healthy. They're here to protect all of us from the spread of COVID-19.
Please stay up to date on your COVID-19 vaccines.
So the only time you'll need to see me is for a regular checkup.
Everyone 5 and older can get a COVID-19 vaccine. Visit myspot.nc.gov.
Justin Thomas captured the PGA Championship for the second time in 5 years. He stormed back from 7 shots behind to win his second major of the season in a 3-hole playoff with Will Zalatoris. Thomas birdied the first 2 playoff holes to close with a par. He began the tournament with a back-to-back 67, despite getting in the poor side of the draw. He shot a 74 on Saturday to go backward, but he made a back 9 charge on Sunday and birdied the 17th and closed with a 67, finished with 5 under 275 over 72 holes. Coco Gauff didn't let 10 double faults, 12 break points, or a warning from the chair umpire about receiving coaching from dad to disrupt her progress in the second round of the French Open. The 18-year-old American opened play in Paris with a 7-5, 6-0 victory over Canadian qualifier Rebecca Marino. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
We could see severe storms develop for the evening commute. Some showers and thunderstorms will be possible and will likely provide damaging wind speeds and hail. Highs will head into the lower 70s and the upper 80s today, and lingering storms will linger into tonight, but I think that severe threat will die down considerably as we head into the overnight hours. Temperatures will dip into the upper 50s and upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It is cloudy, and we're sitting on the verge of another rain shower here later on this morning. And that's rain's going to be with us throughout today, tonight, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and clearing out here again for a beautiful weekend in the foothills. It's 67 degrees right now, and cloudy skies here in the foothills. It's 8:30. It's time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. And with the program today is Mark Morris.
Hi, everyone. This is Mark with Word of Faith Fellowship, and I'm glad you're listening today.
We've been on a series on our radio programs the last 2 times that I have been on the program, covering different areas that has been coming into the church that the devil is using to infiltrate the church, to pull the hearts away from God's people, and to bring in ungodly, profane, demonic, pagan practices into the church. And so on the last radio program that I did with Ray Nino, we actually covered tattoos. And then a prior radio program to that I did with Carol, we covered the martial arts. And so I'm picking back up on this series that we have been doing on how the devil is bringing the pagan practices into the church. The Bible says that the devil masquerades as an angel of light. And what he does is, and he's done this from the beginning, is he tries to bring in demonic pagan practices into God's people. And so God is a holy God. He has commanded his people to be wholly separate from the world and to only follow exactly what he says, to come to him and worship him in the way God has ordained. And so what's happening is the devil hates that, and the devil wants to bring in practices that go directly against God. And so he uses different things. We covered martial arts. He uses tattoos. We're seeing this in the rise in the church today. And there's a lot of deception out there. And so our hope is that when you hear these radio programs, that God will show you, speak to your heart about the truth as well. So today we're going to cover a variety of topics, and I'm going to start with yoga. If you actually look on the internet in a search, yoga, Christian yoga, you will be shocked, as I was, to find out that there are so many Christian, they call it Christian yoga practices out there, and it's infiltrating the church. Yoga is Hinduism. It is rooted deep in Hinduism. You cannot take it away from Hinduism, and yet the church has tried to embrace this. You may know some people that do yoga. It is prevalent in the world. It's prevalent in the corporations. It's actually made its way into the school system, but shockingly, it is actually making its way into the church. And so you have these, quote, Christian yoga groups. And so today I want to share with you what God has really convicted my heart about yoga and how demonic it is. It is a demonic pagan practice rooted in Hinduism. And God's very clear. God said in Exodus, the first commandment of the 10 commandments is, you shall worship the Lord your God and him alone, and you shall have no other gods before you. So yoga is Hinduism, and it is worship and offerings to other gods. And so we're going to break that down and go through it today. And I'll move kind of fast because we want to cover a lot of different areas. But just so you understand, the yoga means a union or a yoke. And so the very meaning of yoga is actually to be unioned with the Hindu aspect of reaching a certain place in your life where you obtain to this eternal enlightenment, this eternal state of bliss. And how that's done is when you do yoga, you are actually meditating. You're supposed to empty yourself, your mind, your being, and basically everything that's in you, you just empty, and you come into this state of, really, it's a sense of unconsciousness in that sense. And so you're supposed to open yourselves up and meditate on the Hindu concepts of life and energy. And so here is the one goal of yoga is this. It is the stilling of the mind and gaining insight, resting in detached awareness and liberating from the world, a process leading to unity with the divine Brahman or with oneself. Okay, now the concept of Brahman is viewed in Hinduism, and there is obviously multiple sects of Hinduism. Okay, but one of the main concepts of Hinduism is this concept of Brahman, which really, as you study it, it is actually a god. It is they define it as this life force, this energy force, this force that's in the nature and the trees, and they call it a divine life energy force, but they recognize it as a spiritual component, and some Hindus recognize it as a god they refer to as Brahman. And so what the goal of yoga is it's a process leading to the unity with the divine Brahman. Okay, and Brahman connotes the highest being, the highest level of God in the Hinduism, which is the universal, it's a universal principle of this reality, of this state, of this divine relationship with this divine energy force. Okay, now we've covered martial arts, and this may sound familiar because if you remember, Hinduism, which started hundreds of years BC, actually made its way into China, and really when you study Buddhism, it stems from Hinduism, and so we covered that with martial arts last time. But here you can see that is what yoga is. So yoga is a union with Brahman, this concept of this energy force. And what they believe is that this divine energy is in everything. It's in the trees, it's in the rocks, it's in the animals. And so with that, in Hinduism, is the concept of reincarnation and karma. And that is throughout Hinduism, in all the sects that you would study, you will find it's prevalent. And so the concept of reincarnation is this, that you are ever achieving to reach this union with this state of divine energy. Okay, now Hinduism, they have gods. They actually have over 330 million gods, the beings that they worship, that they make offerings to. And so, but then you have this hierarchy of this concept of Brahman, which is even greater than this. And so that's what they seek to obtain oneness with this divine energy that's in everything. Okay, now as we're going through this, you'll see how contrary, and we'll go through the scriptures, how contrary this is. But remember, yoga means yoke or union. So everything you're doing with yoga is rooted in this union. And so what I want to do is read a little bit from an article from Dr. Lorette Willis, who wrote an article called 12 Reasons Why Yoga is Not Good for Christians. Now, she is a former yoga instructor. She taught yoga for 22 years, and she studied it in depth. And as she did that, God convicted her heart at some point in her life and really spoke to her as she came to Jesus Christ, that yoga was paganism and that it was demonic. And she calls it demonic because it is. And so she writes this article, and what we find out is this. And she references this concept of pranayama, which is actually derived from two Sanskrit words, which is prana, which is life force, and ayama, which is control. And so in the broadest description, this word means the control of the flow of a life force. Now, this is, if you go to the yoga website, you can actually read about this concept of pranayama, which is the goal of yoga, to reach this flow of life force. Okay, now what we should know in Hinduism is that there is actually a dedicated God. I told you there's many gods. There's a dedicated God over yoga. And this God's name is Shiva. All right, Shiva is the Lord of yoga. That is who you are connecting to when you perform yoga. According to the Webster's Dictionary, Shiva is the Hindu god of destruction and rebirth. Shiva is Lord of yoga. And it goes on and it talks about there are other main gods. There's actually the god we just referred to, which is Brahma, which is they view as the creator god. Then there's Vishnu, which is the preserver god. And then you have Shiva, which is this god that relates to yoga. He's also referred to the god of destroyer, meaning it talks about destroying and rebirth, which is a concept of Hinduism, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But so this instructor, who I was just referring to, she actually has written extensively about this, and God has certainly convicted her heart, Dr. Willis. And what she finds out as she's done her own research is it is impossible to separate yoga from Hinduism. Now, she actually quotes a Dr. George Alexander, who is a Christian believer. He taught world religions at Biola University, and he shed some light on this subject. And here's what the article says. It says that he was born in Sri Lanka. He grew up in India, the birthplace of Hinduism and yoga. And so he told us that yoga poses are actually offerings to the 330 million Hindu gods. So when he moved here from India, he was shocked when he saw the American culture taking this on, and because he knew what it was. Every single yoga pose that is done is an offering to the 330 million Hindu gods. And so, and it goes on, and there's another professor. This is a professor named Subhas Tiwari, professor of yoga, philosophy, and meditation. And here's what he says. He says, efforts to separate yoga from its spiritual center reveal ignorance of the goal of yoga. I mean, there's one goal of yoga. It's not just stretches. If you want to stretch, you just stretch. I mean, you can find stretches that help your body. There's one goal from it, and that is the concept of yoga reaching Brahma, okay, which is a false god. And so here is what it goes on and says. The yoga mudra, which is a hand gesture or gateway for namaste, which is means I bow to the divine in you. It is a Hindu gesture, and so your yoga teacher may bow to her class with palms together saying namaste. And you may have seen these pictures of people doing this. They sit on the ground Indian style, they put their hands together and they bow. And what that means when they do this, when you go to your yoga classes, they're bowing down and they're saying namaste, which is I bow to the divine in you. Remember, that's the goal. They're trying to find this divine in you, this false god in you. And so it goes on and says mudra means the seal, a gesture or mark. Yoga mudras are symbolic gestures often practiced with the hands and fingers. They facilitate the flow of energy in the subtle body and enhance one's journey within. The gesture done with palms together is known as the prayer mudra, and it is known as the heart seal. Another common mudra is the placement of index fingertips to thumbs. You may have seen this in people who are engaging in meditation. And this is, again, practicing that it is some type of gateway for spiritual enlightenment into the energy. So there is a third yoga pose that is actually called the corpse pose. And it is literally you're supposed to lay down on your back flat, and this is something they do at the end of yoga practices sometimes, and it is supposed to be a time after at the end where you're supposed to completely eliminate yourself of any thoughts that you have of your own, your mind. You're supposed to basically let your mind totally become in a state of non-functioning so you can wake up this energy. And so it's a concept of emptying the mind. And so and then there's a last pose, as you may have seen people sitting on the floor Indian style, and there's a concept of Kundalini yoga, which is also taught, which believes that there is some kind of the center of the life force energy is actually in the very core of your tailbone, and they call it the serpent. They relate to it as a serpent, and you're supposed to sit there on your tailbone and concentrate on this Kundalini, this serpent energy force to go up your spine and to reach your forehead. And they believe that that place is where you will find the ultimate wisdom or enlightenment when it reaches that plane. And how you do this is you meditate, you empty your mind. Now, everything I've said is absolutely contrary to the scriptures. And if you're doing yoga, it's absolutely inseparable, and you are in violation of God's word, and you are actually opening yourself up to demonic powers, because that's really what it is. Hinduism is birthed by the devil. It is demonic powers. And let me just read to you. There's so many scriptures that talk about have nothing to do with pagan practices, and you can see this when the church started in Corinthians. Paul wrote them and he warned them, because now remember in Corinthians you had a church that was coming out of pagan practices in Corinthians, and so they were coming, and some of them had a root of offering idol worship and offering meat to idols and different things. And so Paul wrote to them, now that you're coming into the church, and they had communion in church, but there was a bringing in of these pagan practices, and Paul wrote to them in 1 Corinthians 10:20, he says, No, I am suggesting that what the pagans sacrifice, they offer in effect to demons, to evil spiritual powers, and not to God at all. I do not want you to fellowship and be partners with diabolical spirits by eating at their feasts. You cannot drink from the Lord's cup and the demon's cup. You cannot partake of the Lord's table and the demon's table. Shall we thus provoke the Lord to jealousy and anger and indignation? Are we stronger than he that we should defy him? And so here you have a simple concept that God says you cannot drink of the Lord's cup and the demon's cup. You cannot partake of the Lord's table and demon's table. So really what's happening when you participate in yoga, whether you call it Christian or not, it may be something that's done at your church. You are offering to demons. You are fellowshipping and you are partnering with diabolical spirits. Now, Paul's warning them, and he's saying, even though you're coming into the church and you're doing certain practices, they were bringing in demonic practices into the church. Paul said, you are fellowshipping with diabolical spirits. You may put on the name of some biblical name or some biblical concept. It doesn't change it. It is not of God. And so Romans 14:23, Paul goes on about convictions. The Holy Spirit actually convicts the hearts of true believers. And the Holy Spirit, it says in John 16, brings us into all truth. And so he writes this in Romans 14, verse 23. He says, for whatever does not originate and proceed from faith is sin. Whatever is done without a conviction of its approval by God is sinful. This is very important because whatever does not originate from faith is sin. So where does yoga originate? Well, it's everywhere. Just look it up and you'll find out. It originates from Hinduism. It is a part of the Hindu practices. And so you should know right then it originated from the devil. Now, all throughout the Old Testament, what we see is that God ordained he said to his people, you are holy people. Remember that he brought his people out of Egypt. They were captive to Egypt, and they actually took on some of the practices of the Egyptians. But when God brought them out, he brought them through the wilderness, and he brought them to purge them from all of the pagan Egyptian practices. He was bringing them into the Holy Land, and he told them, he said, do not take on the practices and customs of the land. And he warned them as they were going into the land of Canaan, and he was going to give them this land, and he warned them, and he said, when you go in there, don't take on the practices of these pagan nations. And we see this in Leviticus 20, verse 23. It says, you shall not walk in the customs of the nations, which I am casting out before you. For they did all these things, and therefore I was wearied, and I was grieved by them. You shall be holy, for I am holy. So when you look up the definition of holiness, holiness means actually to be separate and apart. If you actually study the root word of holiness in Hebrew, what you'll find is actually the very core word of it. It actually means to cut. Okay, there's literally a cutting and then a separating. You can picture this if you're in your kitchen and you're cutting some vegetable or something. You take that knife, you cut it, and you separate it. That's what holiness is. And God said, you're separate from all of the pagan nations. You're my people, and you should take on the practices that I have and do nothing with the pagan practices. Now, in Jeremiah 10:2, God was bringing judgment on his people because they had done this. They have taken on the practices. In Jeremiah 10:2, it says, thus says the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen nations, and be not dismayed at the signs of the heavens, though they are dismayed at them. For the customs and ordinances of the peoples are false, empty, and futile. So this is, again, don't learn the way of the heathen nations. That's what yoga is. You are learning the way of the heathen nations. And be not dismayed at the signs of the heavens, though they are dismayed at them. This is all in the Hinduism. You're looking to nature. You're looking at the things around you for answers, for this energy. And it says, for the customs and ordinances of the people are false, empty, and futile. Let me tell you, yoga is false, empty, and futile. And when you do it, you're opening yourself up to demons to come in you. Now, actually, there is a verse in Isaiah that actually says very clearly, Isaiah 2:6. And again, this is God's judgment coming on his people. Once again, they took on the customs of the land. And he says this. God's saying, I'm bringing judgment to you. That's what the book of Isaiah talks about. I'm bringing judgment to you, O house of Israel. And here's what he says: for you have abandoned your people, the house of Jacob, and because they are filled with influences. This is actually Isaiah talking to God. You have abandoned your people, the house of Jacob, because they are filled with influences of the east. Now, at that time, they were in Israel. Okay, now what's east of them? You have the Middle East, and then you keep going. East and northern, you have India. Remember that Hinduism actually began hundreds and hundreds of years BC. It was existing approximately the time that you see Isaiah and Jeremiah. Interestingly, God actually speaks to the children of Israel, and he says, you have been filled with the influences of the east. Okay, and they had taken on the surrounding nation customs. And so God says that you will be judged. Now, we also see in the New Testament, God warns his people in Colossians 2:8. See to it that no one carries you off as spoil or makes you yourselves captive by his so-called philosophy and intellectualism and vain deceit, following human traditions, men's ideas of material rather than the spiritual world, just crude notions following the rudimentary and elemental teachings of the universe and disregarding the teachings of Christ. So this is what is happening. When you engage in yoga, you are being carried off spoil. This is Colossians 2:8. You are being carried off spoil. I want to just reference that yoga, the concept of Christian yoga, if you study it, you will find out that there was a person named A.K. Mozumdar who was the founder of the Christian Yoga Society, and he wrote a book about it. Okay, now let me tell you something. Those two words, Christian and yoga, don't go together. And true Hindu people who study Hinduism and yogism, they know that it's an oxymoron. Those words don't believe. Anybody who's Hindu would tell you this, who's a true devout Hindu. Now, here's what he writes in his book. This is the guy who is the so-called person who started the concept of Christian yoga. He writes this in his book. He says, East and West are brought together to allow those from both spiritual backgrounds to enhance their growth and to possibly experience an all-pervading oneness in the universe. Okay, this is false. The Bible is very clear that there's only one way and there's only one truth. Okay, this really the reality is this: that this person, A.K. Mozumdar, was being used by the devil, and he was masquerading as an angel of light. This is false. So we know that the Bible is so clear. In John 14, verse 6, Jesus said this. He said, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. There's not many ways like this person says, but when you practice yoga, you are engaging in that concept that there are many, many ways to God. We have Romans 5:8. Which says that salvation is something which is, and can only be accomplished by God through his Son, Jesus Christ. We have in John 3, unless a person is born again by surrendering his life to Jesus, he can not ever see the kingdom of God. And of course, Ephesians 2:8, for you are saved by grace through faith in Jesus Christ alone. So you're not saved by this concept of bringing all these spiritual backgrounds together. I want to reference to you that there is a person named Mike Shreves who has written extensively on this. Mike is a minister. He's written on how yoga is not Christian. Shreves is his last name, Shreves, and you can look at his works. So he was a former Kundalini yoga instructor. He actually taught at 4 different college universities, including this is all actually universities in Florida. And he studied under a guru. He embraced Hinduism. He took a vow of poverty. He didn't have a vehicle. He basically just bare necessities. And so he devoted his entire life to this practice of yoga and Hinduism. And his testimony is very powerful because he would get up in the morning, 3 in, and devote his time to meditation. And he actually had a friend that was also a yoga instructor who found Jesus Christ, and Jesus convicted his heart that yoga was demonic. And so he wrote the letter to Mike Shreves, and Mike, sent him back and said, well, good for you, but I'm a devoted Hindu yoga practitioner. And but that letter sat on him and sat on him. And amazing story. You can read it for yourself. But one of the things that happened to him was that there was an article written about him in the newspaper in Florida because he was such a main yoga instructor. And a prayer group, a Christian prayer group, read the newspaper article and they cut it out, put it in front of them, and they all started praying for him every day. And it's amazing, this testimony, because as time progressed, that letter that his friend wrote to him just sat on him. And finally he said, well, I'm going to just meditate about Jesus one day because I can't get away from this concept of who Jesus is. And he starts to think about Jesus, read the Bible one day, gets up early in the morning, and by the end of the day, God comes to him. Jesus Christ comes to him and speaks to his heart about the truth. And he just breaks and cries. And it's an amazing testimony. But he writes about every component of yoga. And he says this, he makes it clear that if you're a Christian, you cannot practice yoga. He was entrenched in it. He says there is absolutely no part of yoga that you can do. And so I want to encourage you on that. I also want to cover, with the time that's left, the concept of acupuncture. Now, acupuncture is not per se yoga or Hinduism. It is basically a Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. But I just want to say this for you because it is rooted in the same concept of this life energy and force and paganism. And remember that it's rooted in Buddhism. And remember that Buddhism actually has its roots in Hinduism. And so there is this concept of this life force energy. Buddhism actually is really... doesn't necessarily have this concept of these 330 million gods like Hinduism does, but it has a concept of this energy force that God is not a being that you can relate to. It's not the God of the Bible that we know. It is just this energy force that you try to get to through meditation and good behavior and so forth, which is contrary to that. It says in Deuteronomy that, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one God." He's one God. He's not many. He's not a life force. He's one personal God that loves us, and we have a relationship with him. But it says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, and your entire being." And so this is totally contrary. But anyways, you should know this, that acupuncture is similar to yoga in the sense of you're trying to attain this energy force. Now, you should know what it is it's the insertion of needles into your body at certain points. And so the philosophy is this. It is energy. They say that energy enters the body through energy centers known as meridians. Practitioners believe that imbalances in this energy, yin yang, now that's Taoism, and it's the balance of this energy force, good, evil, male, female, light, dark. You got to balance everything. Totally contrary to scriptures. Remember that in God's word, it says that there's only light in him, not darkness. But they believe that there is a part of darkness that's good. And so it says that this is what causes the illnesses in your body when your spirit is out of yin yang, okay? And so you will see in acupuncture places they have the yin yang symbol on it. But here is acupuncture. Basically what it is it says in Oriental medicine there is no separation between mind, body, and spirit. All are seen as components of the life force. This is why acupuncturists believe that the spirit is the motive force of organisms and must be reached first in order to initiate the healing process. Okay, the acupuncture needle is often seen as the instrument of containing the spirit behind the needles are inserted into discrete acupuncture points, each of which is said to control specific psychological and physiological functions of the body down to the cellular level. Now, this is when they do this to you, the people that are doing this, they're actually trying to be in tune with the spiritual force, place these needles at certain points, and it's supposed to open up the energy force. That's what acupuncture is. I mean, some people say, well, it gives me release. Well, when you poke yourself, your body does release these chemicals, the chemicals that combat pain and make you feel good. But you're allowing demons in you, is what's going on. And so it is a pagan-rooted practice, similar. So we're going to keep going with these radio programs as I have time to get on here and share with you because we just want to share our hearts. We love you, and we know what God has done to show the truth in his word, and he wants us to know the truth so we can walk with him every single day because God loves you and I. He's a holy God, and he requires you and I to walk in his holiness. So I encourage you, pray and ask God to show you so you can walk in his truth and his ways. Thank you again for listening. This is Mark with Word of Faith Fellowship. We're on this programs Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. You can go to our website and see all our radio programs at wordoffaithfellowship.org. Thank you very much.
The music's on us on WCAB.
From ABC News, I'm Derek Dennis. Specialized baby formula on the way to babies who need it, courtesy of the federal government, fast-tracking and overseas shipment